Bam! We're live. Put my phone on silent. Jesus. Alright. What's going on, good hooligans? Oh, goodness. I actually wanted to do this live stream at fucking 10 this morning, but I slept in. So I needed an hour, at least, to get myself woken up and everything. So, we're bueno now. As I yawn. Fuck. Alright. Not sure if anyone's gonna tune in and everything. Kind of drop this like within an hour, so if people don't catch it live, it'll be up right away. But right now, if you're watching this after the live stream, you can go watch the new Halloween VR video, Annabelle B's Room. That's out right now. For the $5 patrons, the Conjuring 2 Visions will be on the Patreon. I'm hoping to get it out tonight. If it's not out tonight, it will be out tomorrow, 100%. So you folks will still have that at least a week early, like the plan has been. Excuse me. But also, I'm going to be releasing another Halloween like VR video. I might actually release that one early just because it's a bonus one. I don't know. I'm still kind of trying to figure it all out. But because Friday the 13th is coming up, I want to do like a bonus video for Friday the 13th. Unfortunately, there's no actual like Jason Voorhees 360 videos or like VR stuff that I can find at least. So I have this other one that I'm going to do. It's called the Black Mass Experiment. It's from the one app, Jaunt VR. I talked about that app kind of a little bit on, if you go back a couple of podcasts, the one that's called Kaiju Fury. I talk about the Jaunt VR app because that's actually that little short film, Kaiju Fury. That's like a VR short film. If you're a fan of like the old school like kaiju movies like Godzilla, Mothra, technically King Kong, like that kind of stuff, then you'll probably enjoy this. It was pretty dope though. I liked it. But yeah, Black Mass Experiment's on there, so I'll do that probably for Friday the 13th as like a bonus video. And then the Conjuring 2 Visions, like I said, that'll be out for the patrons this weekend, either tonight or tomorrow. And that'll be out next Saturday. So on the 14th, that comes out. So yeah, so next weekend for the Friday the 13th, you get Black Mass Experiment. And then Saturday, you get Conjuring 2 Visions. Right now, Annabelle just dropped last night. And if you haven't checked it out, there's Dark Walls. That's all part of the Halloween stuff. There's 1157 as well, if you want to check that out. I ended up kind of releasing that early, though. It's one of those ones. If you want to include it in the Halloween VR stuff, because I technically originally planned for that, that's fine. If some people don't, because I dropped it in September, then that's fine too. But yeah, so Annabelle's out now. And then you guys will have new stuff coming next weekend. You have 2 VR Halloween stuff. So that's exciting. Very, very exciting. Oops. Maybe I'll get both of those filmed actually this weekend. See what happens. I think we'll go into the UFC real quick. Yeah. So, an update on this whole Jon Jones thing. Jeff Nowitzki, the guy who's basically in charge of USADA, United States Athletic Doping Administration, Anti-Doping Administration, something like that. Jeff Nowitzki's the guy who caught fucking Lance Armstrong, so he knows his shit. But he came out about this whole Jon Jones thing. He tested positive for Turnbull after his comeback fight, and he wins his title again. He tests positive again for this. Well, I just said it. Turnbull. The B sample comes back positive as well. But I don't know. Fucking apparently Jeff Nowitzki now is saying if Jon Jones took that through, like they actually find out, like, because what happens if an athlete says, oh, it must have been in like some supplements that I was taking. So they'll do a blind test. You have to submit everything that you've been taking, where you got it and everything. And then they, like the USADA people, go into that store, buy it themselves, and they run their tests on that as well as your batch. But they're saying if he comes back and that was from a tainted supplement, then Jon Jones won't serve any suspension, which means they'll probably reinstate him as the champion. If it turns out like he didn't take it on purpose, I guess. But it's going to be the weirdest fucking situation that a champion has ever gone through in the UFC. Honestly, it is so fucking weird. It's just so up and down. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I honestly don't. Like, it's kind of hard to, like, root for the guy. You know what I mean? Like, just, it's one of those things, like, how many times, like, are we gonna, like, I don't know, as, like, MMA fans, how many times can you really, like, watch somebody fuck up, you know what I mean? And like, it's not even, like, you know, he missed weight or whatever like that. He's never missed weight, but, like, you know, we got into the fucking car crash, like, fucking tested positive for cocaine, tested positive for banned substances, like, you know what I mean? I don't know, folks. Honestly, like, that's all I wanted to say. Like, so if it turns out it was a tainted supplements that he bought, he won't serve any suspension. But to the more important things, UFC 216 is tonight, and I am super excited, folks. Demetrius Johnson, I don't know, a lot of people try and say, like, you know, they have a hard time putting him in that, like, #1 greatest of all time because of, like, who he's faced. But when, like, people don't make that same argument for for Anthony Joshua, like a heavyweight boxer in the UK and everything. They're like, oh, you know, like, that's not his fault. That's just who he's facing. That's the heavyweight division right now. Well, that's the same shit as Demetrius Johnson. This guy has tied Anderson Silva's record for 10 consecutive title defenses. It's not his fault. Like, fucking, he fights who they give him. They made an entire, like, Ultimate Fighter season around champions from, like, all the different companies they could find to find the one to beat Demetrius Johnson. Like, what do you mean? Like, who he's faced? He's faced fucking champions and high-level fighters. There might be, like, a few that you can be like, well, he probably shouldn't have been fighting him. Okay. Can we all agree that Canelo probably shouldn't have been fighting Mayweather that young in his career? You know what I mean? Like, we can't fucking make excuses for one person and then, like, just accept it for another boxer or another fighter. It doesn't work like that. Honestly, when you look at it, 10 consecutive title defenses. If he goes tonight and beats Ray Borg, which I think he's going to beat Ray Borg, he now passes Anderson Silva in the consecutive title defenses. That's fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you can't have this guy as one of the greatest of all time. Even in, like, putting him in that #1 spot. Look at his fights. The guy barely takes any damage while executing a fucking masterful, like, technical plan. I don't know. It boggles my mind when people try, like, say all these excuses of why they can't rank Demetrius Johnson as, like, the greatest of all time. But those same excuses they're using are the ones that, like, they just, like, pass off for other, like, fighters and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. My pick for tonight against Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg, honestly, like, I don't think Ray Borg's bringing anything that Demetrius Johnson hasn't dealt with. He's still a very young kid in his career, really. I believe he's only like 20 something. I might be wrong about that though. I don't know. I don't think he has like enough to beat Demetrius Johnson, honestly. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson. I don't think it goes to. I think Demetrius finishes him. That's not like maybe third or fourth round. Demetrius Johnson puts Ray Borg away, either by TKO or submission for sure. Oh, and fucking just throw it in. Fabrizio Verdum, Derrick Lewis. It's actually a pretty important fight for both of them. Derrick Lewis is coming off a loss from Mark Hunt. If he wins this one against arguably one of the best heavyweights in like that's ever been in mixed martial arts, that puts him right back like in like, you know, the top of like the heavyweight division in a way. If Fabrizio Verdum wins, I don't know where he goes from here. Honestly, like when he came back, he seemed like he was like he was improving from the last time he was in the UFC. But it just kind of seems over his past couple fights, he's started to feel that decline as an older fighter. So I don't know. I think Derrick Lewis gets it. Oh, Miss Kaiju. I'm gonna hold that so it doesn't fall over. Why do dogs take such long stretches? It's like they gotta like hold it so it goes through their whole body. Hey, babies. But yeah, I don't know. I think Derrick Lewis can definitely get him, especially with his power early in the fight. It's only a 3-round fight, so hopefully Derrick Lewis's cardio, you know, holds up. I'm rooting for the Black Beast. That's his nickname. I'm not calling him a Black Beast. That's his nickname. So, the main event of the night: Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee for the 155 lightweight interim lightweight championship. Probably could have just said that. Anyway, it's I don't know. I was thinking about this. Regardless, like, so this is basically whoever wins this, Conor McGregor has to fight them to defend the 155 belt. If he doesn't defend it, he vacates the belt, and they become the official champion. Which honestly, I think in a lot of like really diehard like MMA fans' eyes, I'm gonna move up a little bit. In like a lot of MMA fans' eyes, this might actually be like the real lightweight championship fight. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about this last night. If Conor McGregor doesn't come back and act like, I don't give a fuck about the Nate Diaz fight. That'll be there if they want to do it in a year or something like that. I don't want to see him fight Paulie Malignaggi in a boxing ring. We saw him do boxing against Mayweather. Okay, good job. If he doesn't come back and actually defend the lightweight belt against the winner of tonight's match or tonight's fight, whatever you want to say, Conor McGregor, like, he has to vacate the belt. That's it. Like, enough. Enough is enough. You know what I mean? And if honestly, it's one of those things. If really, like, when you think about it, okay, he lost to Nate Diaz. He came back and won a questionable decision. A lot of fans debate it. He knocked out Eddie Alvarez, and then he lost to Floyd Mayweather. So in some people's eyes, he's 2-2 out of his last 4 fights. Some people, he's 1-3. 1 win, 3 losses. So he's got to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't come back and actually defend the belt, I think it's kind of one of those things where we just kind of, hey, buddy, happy Saturday, Fight Talk. Yeah, what's going on? Stay Blessed Productions, Dean Wild. But yeah, if Conor doesn't come back and actually defend the belt against Tony Ferguson or Kevin Lee, I'll get into my pick in a little bit. It's going to be one of those things where we just kind of talk about the Conor McGregor tornado. He came into the he made it to the UFC. He talked a lot of shit. He predicted when he was going to finish his opponents, and he went out there and finished them in that round and everything that he predicted. He knocks out Jose Aldo, who was 10 years undefeated in like mixed martial arts. Takes the fight with Nate Diaz, loses the first one, fights him again, wins the decision, starches Eddie Alvarez, and then he kind of rides off in the sunset in a way. Because, I don't know, it's like this whole Floyd Mayweather thing has held up the lightweight division for for what feels like such a long time now. It's one of those things, like, I don't know. As like a diehard MMA fan, I feel if Conor doesn't like want to come back and fight Kevin Lee or Tony Ferguson, vacate the belt, dude. Go fight Nate Diaz or something. You know what I mean? Because Tony Ferguson, he's coming in on a 9-fight win streak. Like, he finally gets his shot at a title, and it's an interim title now. He deserves his, like, real title shot. Kevin Lee, young kid, he's looking great in his last fights. He speaks like a superstar already. People like him. You know what I mean? He's definitely marketable. Both of these guys, like, deserve to be champions or can be champions, like, without Conor holding up the division. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Conor's got to figure his shit out. Come back and defend the belt against fucking Ferguson or Kevin Lee, or vacate the shit and just ride in the sunset, man. You made enough money. Because honestly, okay, so let's get into this. Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee. If you haven't watched Tony Ferguson fight, go watch his fight, like, with Rafael Dos Anjos. And really, honestly, any of his fights, like, he's so unorthodox with his movement and, like, what he can do, and just, like, he pulls off the craziest shit sometimes. Tickle in my throat. But, and the way he comes in with, like, the way he can work elbows and his Muay Thai into his combinations is crazy. It always, like, I don't know. It's always crazy to watch. It's so cool. And Kevin Lee, it's one of those things, like, he's young, he's fucking strong, he's explosive, he's great on the ground, too. Like, he can, if he gets your back, it's like, he's getting the rear naked choke. That's what he wants to do, and he can do it. You know what I mean? This is one of those things, like, my head says Tony Ferguson. I feel like he definitely has the experience, for one. Like, the experience factor over Kevin Lee. His unorthodox movement and the way he throws combinations and the way he rolls in for fucking leg locks and everything. I don't think Kevin Lee's ever dealt with something like that in a fight yet. It's kind of the same situation as Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg. You know, Ferguson is very experienced. Tony Ferguson has all of the things that Kevin Lee hasn't seen, but Kevin Lee isn't bringing anything that Tony Ferguson really hasn't seen in the octagon yet. You know what I mean? Kevin Lee's also still really young. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be one of those things where it's too much too soon, but tonight will prove that. It depends on how he handles the situation tonight. My head says Tony Ferguson, my heart says Kevin Lee. You know what I mean? It's one of those toss-up ones. If I really had to, like, fucking put my foot down and make a decision, though, I pick Tony Ferguson for sure. I think I don't know. I can see him getting the stoppage. I can see him locking in that Darce choke that he can basically do to anybody, it seems. Or I see him using those elbows and everything and really, like, bringing Kevin Lee into deep waters that he's never been in yet, with, like, the blood pouring down his face, like, going later in the rounds, and Tony Ferguson is still there as he was in the first round, if not fucking more in the fight. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. If I had to really put my foot down, I'm going with Tony Ferguson. I could see him getting a stoppage, but I could see him getting a unanimous decision for sure. Bam, we're done fight talk. Unfortunately, I can't put any skip times, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. Cross that off. Chiboopy, chiboopy. Okay. Watched a, well, not a trailer. Watched the trailer for Pacific Rim 2 today. Super fucking excited for this one. Takes place after the first one. John Boyega, Finn from Star Wars Force Awakens, he actually is playing Idris Elba's son from that first one. So that's actually like really interesting. Might be like a driving factor for his character. He wants to, like, you know, be as good as his dad was in a way. Because I remember in that movie, Idris Elba is like the badass that could fucking merge with the Jaeger and move it on its own when usually you need like 2 or 3 people. So that's pretty dope. Couple things, excuse me, couple things in the trailer I just wanted to kind of talk about quick, because I saw them and I was like, oh shit. It seems like, so with this one, it takes place after the first one, so like the war with like the Jaeger and the Kaiju are actually, hi babies, are actually like, it's become more of a war in a way, you know what I mean? And with that, you know, there's different nations now with Jaegers and everything like fighting against them. But with that is, I feel like it's going to come conflict within those nations, for like Japan versus USA or whatever it might be. Because in the trailer, we see a fucking Jaeger versus Jaeger fight. Now, if you're not familiar with Pacific Rim, the Jaegers are these like giant fucking machines basically that like the human goes in and it like more than one person, as I was saying, they like mentally connect and work this giant fucking machine like on its own, and it can like do crazy kung fu shit. Some of them have swords and everything. It's super dope. And the Kaiju, those it's funny because in the first one it actually states what it stands for. Kaiju is Japanese for strange beast. That's why I named her that as well, because she's a red husky and a Rottweiler, so I don't know, just seemed fitting. So yeah, it's one of those things where with like the Jaegers and everything, those have evolved, and now like I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a Jaeger versus Jaeger fight, which would be so fucking dope. Kind of like reminiscent of like the original Power Rangers and shit with like the fucking Megazords and everything. I don't know. And also the monsters have evolved. The Kaiju, you know what I mean? Like, that's super dope. At one point, I'm pretty sure you see like one of them having like a Wolverine like regeneration thing. And if that's the case, like that shit is getting super intense. Like I don't know. How you gonna beat something that just can like keeps regenerating? You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I am super excited for it though. Excuse me. Excusez-moi. Okie dokies. Oh, yeah, fucking Justice League trailer tomorrow. So I will definitely be filming a reaction thing for that as well. I'll have like the trailer right here in the corner or something. I'll be all like, oh my god! And what else? I don't know. It's the New York Comic-Con right now, so if there's a Walking Dead trailer that comes out, we'll definitely talk about that. But the Justice League one, I don't know. I feel like it'd be... I've been wanting to do like the reaction ones, because I did it for the Last Jedi one, and a few other ones. I don't know. Seems some of the hooligans, you know, they fuck with like the trailer reaction stuff and whatever. So I'm gonna keep doing them. Especially even when the one episode with Game of Thrones, when I was doing all, like, people were hitting me up and they were just saying like it was funny to see somebody else have like the kind of the same reactions. Because So I don't know. As long as the hooligans keep liking the content, I'm going to keep making that stuff. Why not? God damn it. Why not? Yep. Before I get out of here, I'm not going to dive into it too much and get all fucking emotional and heavy in here. All I'm going to say is to the hooligans that hit me up regarding yesterday's vlog. Your messages, it's been amazing. It helped me in ways I can't really articulate, to be honest with you. To know that the hooligans kind of have dealt with the same thing, or they know somebody very close to them that deals with the same thing. It was it helps a lot, you know what I mean? And just to clear it up, I'm pretty sure I stated it in yesterday's vlog. Like I didn't want to go on a ledge and say like it's agoraphobia, because I do understand that is a very real thing for some people, and they deal with it on a very extreme level. Yesterday, that whole last segment, that was the first time I had ever really like said any of that out loud. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to really word any of it. I was kind of just like talking it out like throughout like that little segment on its own. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So yeah, I should have said, excuse me, I should have said social anxiety. And thank you to the hooligans that hit me up and helped like clarify that. It's just in that moment, the only thing I could like think of was like agoraphobia. Like the fear of, and like anxiety of like going outdoors and everything in a way. So like, my bad for like putting that one out there, because I wasn't saying that I did have that or anything like that. And thank you to the hooligans that helped like hit me up and like actually place like the social anxiety, like I don't want to say label, but you know what I mean. So yeah, thank you to the hooligans for the messages and everything. Fucking thank you to the hooligans for like kind of also not just going off and being like, oh, you don't have agoraphobia, blah, 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 and actually, you know, like talking about it with me. That's always appreciated. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to get the fuck on out of here. You hooligans, mucho love. Let's close that message. There we go. Mucho love, you hooligans. Remember, Annabelle VR, B's Room, that's out now. Go check Dark Walls if you haven't. Go check all the VR stuff if that's like the kind of stuff you like. What else? What else? Oh, UFC 216 tonight if you're a fight fan. Yeah, that's about it. All right. Mucho love. Mwah, mwah, mwah for you beautiful fat J's. I'm gonna get out of here. Have an adventure of a day, my hooligans.